Hello, everybody. So, it's all going crazy with our favorite boy over here, Hasan, and he's dealing with some backlash, which is, pretty much every day there's something going on with him and Asmongold or something. But right now he's under a lot of backlash because, as you can see, it says Hasan Piker over the drone comments on stream. Now, he's been kind of wilding out with the whole Iran stuff. We don't get too political over here, but let's see what's kind of going on with him, a little bit with Asmongold. I think XQC, Ethan Klein weighed in on the situation. So let's go ahead and have a look at it. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys have been showing me a ton of love. I appreciate it. But that pushes out the videos to other people. So let's get straight into it. All right. So this says, so Hasan is telling people to go and make bombs to use them. Again, how is he still allowed on any social media app? So he's telling his chat that, this type of bombing is, and then, here's another way that you can just do it. So let's see what he's got to say.
Anymore. Because like the Taliban guy was like, oh, you have nuclear arms, but we have like suicide bombers. Like, we'll just blow up your country with suicide bombers. And it's like, you really don't need that anymore in drone warfare, right? You don't need that at all. Just make fucking drones. You can purchase them from, you can purchase them in the online marketplace. Like, China literally sells like explosive ordnance delivery mechanisms that you can put to a DJI drone that you can purchase like at virtually no significant cost in comparison to like, sophisticated equipment that you need.
Yeah, man's is really like laying it out though. I can kind of see why this went a little viral. Like, he's like, yo, like, you don't have to like harm people in that way. You can like harm people in this way, which is definitely kind of crazy. The point that he goes into like specifics about like pricing and everything like this. I mean, is this like a political commentator thing? Because I'm also wondering, I'm like, why do you know this? I'm like, why do you know these details?
Together. So
it's like Hasan's never beating he supports terrorist allegations, I guess.
I guess like you kind of at that point you're doing that for the love of the game, right? Like, you're doing suicide bombing just for the love of the game because like you want to keep it old school. Is that what it is? Why is bro saying that? Yeah. I'm just saying it's like
that's wild to say. I get what he's saying there, but it's definitely like, man, Hasan be saying some unhinged stuff. We definitely gonna be covering him a lot more on this channel. But bro said, is it old school? Is crazy,
insane. That I mean, this,
what I'm saying? It's kind of like a car, like, let's say when we all go electric, some people are still going to have like gas cars, just for the love of the game. Like, even though, it may like harm the environment more, or it may just be more expensive to maintain, at that time, like people still do it anyway. He's kind of saying that about, these bombers, which is crazy work.
Basically, this is functionally what you could get away with if you facilitated like a somewhat difficult to pull off suicide bombing strike, right? And instead you're just using a Shahed drone that's like what, $10,000?
Jeez,
it's crazy how terrifying this process is.
I mean, he's not wrong, but it's like, why are you, it's like you're given the blueprint. So let's see. So Ethan Klein accuses him. So then Ethan Klein comes out and he accuses Hasan, of helping, people by giving them instructions, which, this is what Ethan Klein had to say about it.
You can purchase them in the online, like suicide bombers.
Oh, well, here's the clip. You guys see the clip, but essentially this is what he says. Like, he gives instructions. Does anybody care? Nothing matters anymore. I think at this point, everybody is so used to like Hasan just saying pretty much like anything, like any pretty much unhinged thing that, it's like anything goes. Now it looks like, oh, we have a clip here of Asmongold calling out Hasan.
The Taliban Pakistan fight that was taking place. And I was really thinking about this. You really don't need suicide bombing anymore.
Really popular tweets that Hasan probably saw that said this. And they said that Afghanistans don't need to suicide bomb. They're just doing it now for the love of the game. He's stealing this. This is a Twitter person said this.
Ah, he took his joke. It's kind of like sensitive society and like no, not sensitive society. I think it was a more Pegasus and somebody where it was over an Anissa imp meme or something like that. He's like, you stole my imp meme, but hey, I mean, I could have seen that. That joke was, I don't know. Maybe, do you guys think? I think it was kind of on par with, like, you know, Hasan politics saying wild things. Like, I think it was on par, but yeah, I could definitely see him have picked it up from somewhere off Twitter.
You know, because like the Taliban guy was like, oh, you have nuclear arms, but we have like suicide bombers. Like, we'll just blow up your country with suicide bombers. And it's like, you really don't need that anymore. Them from like. China costs in comparison to, like, you know,
like, this is your idea. This is exactly what, oh my God. Not only are you trying to like fucking say, oh, they should use these. Wow. This is sad. I mean, what honestly, the fact that he's stealing this viral tweet is almost more pathetic than he's like siding with the terrorists. It is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what you guys think about Hasan too. Like, I'm kind of new in these spaces, you know what I mean? New to the commentary, you know, doing all that. So I'm still figuring out my bearings. So let me know what you guys think about some of these people. It's not going to really change how I feel about them, but, you know, I'm curious to really know what the sentiment is around these people. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen them both kind of say some wild things. I've seen Hasan definitely say, like, the craziest of stuff, way more than Asmongold for me. But, you know, you guys know I had that last video on, like, is Asmongold racist with, like, this one tweet. But, you know, we're going to be covering it all. And if there's other people y'all want me to cover and topics and stuff like that, let me know.
Like,
this is exactly what he said.
You want to keep it old school? Is that what it is?
Jesus.
Why is bro saying that? I'm just saying, it's like insane that, I mean,
it said, chat, stay chill. You already know they're saying, they're like, hey, bro, like, hey, bro, you gotta chill.
This is functionally what you could get away with if you...
Tweets that were really popular that use that exact same language. Let me see if I can pull it. Let me see if I can find it.
Let's see.
He did.
Oh, you found it just that quick.
Suicide bombing in an age where drones exist. Pure love for the game. You literally stole this from a tweet. You did.
Bro's not letting him get away with it.
I wouldn't see that. Shameless. Absolutely shameless. Wow. Saw this battalion thing yesterday. We did. And there it is. Stolen valor. Yep. Stolen valor. 100 fucking percent.
You know, you guys know, it's like stealing a tweet nowadays, especially with these large content creators. You know, that's thousands of likes, y'all. That's thousands of likes. You know what I'm saying? You can't be out here stealing people content or stealing people jokes. Like, that's one of the worst things you can do. Like, imagine when you're in school and stuff or something like that. Like, let's say you're in high school, you got your joke ready, or let's say you got a fresh pair of, you know what I'm saying, like a fresh hat or something like that, and you let your homeboy borrow it on the one day, and he comes and he's like, yeah, like, I let this bum use my hat, and it's actually your hat, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, dang, you really stole the sauce. You can't be stealing the sauce, people. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad luck. All right, so now we've got this, okay? So we've got, obviously, the whole situation with Iran happened and everything like that. As I say, like, I don't get too much into politics. Don't what's her name? Don't Emaru me now. Don't Emaru me now. But, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's like, it looks like the Iranian people are happy. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it looks like they're happy. So I'm like, if the people who are in the country are happy with it, I don't see why. If the majority are happy, then I feel like, you know what I'm saying, it might be something good. But so it says, you know, he responds to the drama. He's talking about he can't go back to this. Okay. He's talking about he can't go back to Turkey because, you know, how much you'll never see them defending the U.S. It's disgusting. Okay. Well, you guys know the funny thing about this is, you know, Hasan's not allowed in Turkey because of like the things that he says on the internet. And it's crazy because, you know, the U.S. does allow him to stay in the internet. So I don't know. I've pretty much seen, I think you guys have all kind of seen that pretty much like whatever is going on right now in the U.S., the Hasan's gonna go for the opposite. So if something's like, you know what I'm saying, if anything negative for the US, like Hasan's gonna highlight that, you know.
Like, I am a diasporoid, okay? I am a fucking diasporoid myself, and I can't go back to Turkey. Turkey has no free speech. Turkey is very heavy in its prosecution and persecution of people who have spoken out against the state. I've written extensively back in the day at Huffington Post about the Turkish coup d'etat, okay? And I was critical.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, well, it sounds like he's really supporting, you know, it's crazy being somebody who makes content where you like talk, you cover like news and things like that, and just being like a hard supporter of a country that censors that aggressively. And obviously they censored him so much they kicked him off the country, but I don't know. He still talks about him better than the US. Let's keep it a stack.
Of the government, regardless, right? I was critical of the government, and I still am, and I haven't stopped being critical of the Erdogan regime. However, there is
okay, so he was critical though.
In my life where I have felt the indignity in my soul of saying Turkey would be better off with an American puppet installed in its leadership. It is the most undignified, disgusting, worm-like behavior that I have ever seen. And
y'all might have to let me know the political part. I don't know none of this, so I don't know what's going on.
Weird fucking reason. There are so many in the Iranian diaspora, so many in the Cuban diaspora.
That's what I'm saying. I understand a little bit of the Iran stuff. I've taken a look into that, but the Turkey stuff, I have no idea what the US is doing in Turkey. We're everywhere, I guess.
There's so many in the Venezuelan diaspora that straight up think that this is the appropriate measure. It is disgusting to me. It's heinous. It's heinous behavior. I'm telling you, my uncle died. I couldn't go back to my country that I grew up in to see his funeral. And if you think, in spite of all of that, when Israel comes out and says Turkey's next, if you think I'm not going to fucking say, fuck that shit, no matter how much I hate Erdogan, if you think I'm not going to fucking sit there and say, oh yeah, it would be much better if I could just go back to Turkey, see my fucking family.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the U.S. intervene stuff. You know, obviously the U.S. is very much intervene in Iran and pretty much, you know, the main way that you possibly can with us coming in, you know, guns blazing and everything like that. But yeah, it sounds like he's essentially on that, you know, even if these countries are dealing with a lot, even if they've got a lot of things that they need to handle, it sounds like he's kind of saying it's better for them to handle it either themselves or like, you know, for us to essentially like stay out of it. You know what I'm saying?
When Israel and America go and fucking blow up different Turkish installations and completely take over the country, that is disgusting. That is the most worm-like fucking...
I gotta ask y'all, I don't really know, like, do you think, I would say, like, if the Turkish people start celebrating, it's like, what if Hasan's, like, I mean, Hasan could be completely right, I don't know. But, like, I'm just picturing, like, he's saying this, and then just like, you know, the U.S. comes into Turkey or something like that, and all the people are like, have you guys seen all the Iranians? They're all, like, dancing in the streets, like, or something like that. They're living it up. Yeah, they're loving it right now. They're like the Venezuelans. The Venezuelans was dancing up. They was getting it.
Behavior that anyone could ever engage in. It's disgusting to me. It's heartless. It's disgusting. It already happened in Turkey too. Fethullah Gülen is an American CIA asset, okay? And they were...
Okay, Hasan's talking about Turkey. I was trying to see what was going on with Iran, but, you know. And these people were telling him, they're basically saying, who are you? Why are you speaking about my country if you don't know what's happening in Iran? Keep your mouth shut. So let's see.
American, milited by the American state, and then think this is somehow going to lead to a positive result. Insanity. It is disgusting.
Well, I think really what it is for, I don't know about, you know, Turkey, but for Iran, I'm thinking they already know what that bad situation is like and have known that for years. So even if we do come in and somebody comes and puts like a puppet, for instance, in place, it's like when you're already at the worst, you can't go lower than that. So it's like, let's say somebody is just as basically somebody's either going to come in and they're either probably going to be just as bad or things will be better. So it's like, that's a reason for celebration potentially. Like I said, I don't really know. I'm not from Iran. I don't know their situation like that. But, you know, he's talking about how he can't criticize the government in Turkey, but he can in America. You know, all right. So now we've got, okay, this was the Ethan Klein stuff. Yeah. Let's see what Ethan Klein had to say really quick. Oh, well, Ethan Klein saying Hasan's frustrated that, you know, their supreme leader is, you know, he's making his job as a propagandist very difficult. What your Persians, friends, and family think about you going. Okay. So, you know, that's just some Ethan Klein coming at Hasan. All right. So now I just wanted to kind of end it out. I saw this like XQC clip, and XQC was basically saying he was like, he considers himself more left than Hasan because basically, you know, he's saying that even though, you know, he did, I think XQC was like just with Trump or something like that. But he's basically saying that Hasan is so left wing, that he's so radical that, you know, actually like he's not even really left, which kind of makes sense because, you know, Hasan doesn't really be like supporting the left, like really like not the politicians and stuff like that. He's kind of on his own lane. But let's see what he has to say.
Hasan is not left or right.
If you consider the left, just the left, right? I am more of a leftist than Hasan is because he's so radical. He's so far left. I am more of a leftist than he is. Absolutely. At 100, it's not even close either. Simple concept. Left, right. My buddy.
As XQC, I feel like he's always like breaking things down on some type of board. He's like doing some very like low level analysis, but it's like it's more than most people would do. Like most people aren't pulling up paint on a stream, drawing out the chart and everything like that. So you know what I mean? It just kills me when he does this. And I always just feel like he's sitting with his legs like up in his chair, you know?
Mid-left.
It's kind of funny.
I'm closer than he is because he's so radical. It's that, yo, the horseshoe theory agrees with me. That's what I'm gonna say.
Hasan is not left or right. He is retarded.
Okay, true. Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Chat, I actually lost my breath. You took my breath away. That was such facts.
I didn't even know. You guys know I'm still learning this. I'm actually just, you know, getting into this content. Well, this type of content and stuff like that. So I'm kind of trying to learn this with you guys, get more in the lore and kind of like have the story go on and kind of have it, you know, present it as somebody learning it with you guys. But yeah, I didn't even know XQC and Hasan were really even like enemies like that. I knew they didn't really agree,
My brain
but
shut down.
I didn't think they were actually like, you know, roasting each other or anything like that.
Same energy of like a mean high school girl where he's unable to engage with any of the conversations and disagreements that people have with him in good faith. And he refers back to bad faith arguments, character destruction, and just lying. This real.
I'll be honest with you, I think Hasan is always against any solution for any problems. At that point, I think he's deliberately and generally for the status quo that's problematic. I
mean, I could see that. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where, as you guys know, on this channel I cover tons of lolcows. It's like, let's say one of these lolcows actually gets off the internet, which is the goal of that. Then there's no more content. Now, is that sad? Yes, like, you know, and everything like that. But, you know, that can really drive somebody. If somebody cares more about the clicks, the views, the likes, like, comment, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Other than, you know, actually, you know, what they're supposed to be there to do. In this case, it would be spreading political news. You know, in my case, it would be covering the lolcow or whatever. Then, you know what I'm saying? You kind of get off the, or it would be actually getting the lolcow off the internet, excuse me. Then, you know, some people can lose sight of that and they'll say, hey, you know what, the money, the clicks, you know what I'm saying, I'm choosing that over what was actually the purpose of what, you know, I was supposed to be doing this for.
Lines ideologically with the bad status quo of certain geopolitical issues in the world. It's why he doesn't like any solutions, because he would rather have it to be bad.
Where's the XQC from? Like that accent, I'm not, you know.
In the way that it is. I mean, otherwise, what else then? I mean, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, also, especially when it comes down to like policing and other shit. Bro watches Twitter and makes it think, show me one time where he looked at some fucking case law. He looked at some
That is true. I can't say at my Hasan clips, I have never actually seen him looking through, like, I'm sure he looks through documents sometimes and stuff like that, but it's always Instagram or Twitter. And don't get me wrong, I've been on Twitter literally this entire time, but I also don't claim to be a political commentator. I don't claim to know anything about this. And I'm really just trying to get the conversation going, learn a little bit myself, and kind of bring you guys on this journey with me as I watch this YouTube content. That's kind of the idea here. But I appreciate everybody who's really made it this far in the video. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been showing so much love, so much support. Pop in the comments, just say, hey, what's up, Jordan, and everything like that. You'll probably see me tell you have a great day or something. That's what I be doing. Or I'll tell you to go get you a 10-piece wing or something. And I will catch you guys on the next video.